Good evening, friends. It's Hogmanay, New Year's Eve, the final day of 2020. Can you believe it? We made it. By the grace of God, we're still here to tell it's the end of 2020. And what a terrible year it's been. But there have been some positives. And tonight, I'm joined by my cousin, Brian Anthony Timmins, and my other cousin, the Junior Vice President of Sancta Moments, Thomas Eamon Mallon, to talk about those positives. How are you all doing?
Yeah, good. Very well, very well. Glad to get to the end of 2020.
And in the absence of Jackie Bird, I'll be your host tonight as we ring in the bells. So charge your glasses, everybody. You charging your glasses, Thomas?
Cheers.
He's also legally allowed to drink. He's over 18, just in case anyone's wondering out there. Anyway, so let's start off by the top 10 countdown. Brian, what is your top 10 moment of 2020?
Well, let's start in 10th place. I think 10th place has got to be the weddings we filmed this year. It's been a dreadful year in so many ways for so many people. Several weddings have been cancelled, postponed, moved back. But many people were then able to have their wedding arranged, perhaps in a slightly different way to the way they planned initially, but their weddings did go ahead in the end. So we actually recorded 4 weddings this year and also live streamed some of them for family and friends who couldn't be present. So I think 10th place has to be the streaming and recording of weddings.
I, Rebecca, take you, Daniel.
I, Rebecca, take you, Daniel.
For my lawful husband.
For my lawful husband.
To have and to hold.
They were really good clips. Just looking back there over the summer, the joy and the couples who got married, the imagery, the chance to film that and just be there on their special day and be a part of it was really quite moving for us, especially after the real heavy lockdowns. So we wish.
And I think as well there, John, if I can just jump in, we actually had a wedding, and I'm sure Daniel Horrisk and Rebecca Horrisk, now Rebecca McFarlane, won't mind me mentioning this, but their wedding is actually racked up, I think, over 100,000 views. Is that right?
Funny that they have racked up over 100,000 views on Facebook. It just seemed that it chimed a bell with people. Their wedding.
So although they couldn't have all their family and friends present, they've actually had 100,000 people join in with their wedding in some sense and watch with them. Incredible, really incredible.
It was great. It was really good, and I just think that whole event just shone so much love into a dark situation and just gave us great hope for the future. And we wish those couples all the very best. Thomas, what was your number 9 moment of 2020?
Well, my personal number 9 moment for 2020 was actually filming the Ordinations. Pretty similar to filming all the weddings and such as well. It lets a lot of people who could not attend obviously see what is going on and, you know, be there with them along the way.
Dear Ryan, as you make your priestly promises today to shepherd God's holy people, to preach and teach them on the basis of God's word and to care for and administer the sacraments of salvation to them. Do you promise respect and obedience to me and my successors?
I do.
From heaven you came, helpless babe, entered our world, your glory veiled, not to be served, but to serve.
John, what do you think about the Ordinations this year?
Well, you know, for me, it was really quite moving to be at the 2 ordinations. Obviously, one was for the priest and one was from the diaconate, but they're both kind of similar. And the idea that they were stripped back liturgies in the sense that there wasn't that many people there because of the restrictions, but they still went ahead. And you really got the beauty and the essence of the liturgies for the wonderful music, the cantors and the singing. And to see those 2 men reach their vocation, their desired vocation, despite not knowing when it was going to happen or not because of the restrictions and lockdowns, to see it finally happen was just amazing. and to broadcast that to people was fantastic. What Brian, do you think? But
Oh yeah, it was an incredible event really to be there and witness, especially as you say, the liturgy was cut down in a sense. You couldn't have everyone in the church joining in with the singing. I think that really kind of focused more on the words of the actual mass and the liturgy itself. So it was a wonderful occasion for the Catholics in Scotland to welcome these two men into their vocation in life.
I think we're on number 8 now of the top 10 moments of 2020. This goes way back to the beginning of the year, where the word pandemic wasn't heard of, really. The word masks, social distancing, COVID was not in the general knowledge. And it was the arrival of Father Grant as the new rector of Carfin, Grotto. Quite a shock to us, really, because we worked very closely with Father Grant before at Holy Family, and very suddenly this happened. Father Magaki sadly took unwell, had to retire. He's now recovered, thank God, and is still recovering. But we weren't expecting Father Grant, really, to be honest, to be anybody else but the Bishop's secretary job. And then out of the blue, Brian, in January, Father Grant was appointed at Carfin. What was your initial thoughts at that?
It was quite a shock, actually. We didn't, obviously it happened so quickly with Father Magaki then leaving, and it really didn't seem it was something on the cards, but I was quite excited about Father Grant going to Carfin. I know he's done some great work over the years in Holy Family, and he puts a lot into his priestly vocation, so it was good news really to see him going to Carfin.
I know, and I felt it was really quite amazing that we had the chance to work with him as we're working towards now currently the 100 years of Carfin Grotto, which is coming up in 2022. So that's really given us, although we were involved with Carfin before in certain levels of filming events and things, we now get much more of a chance to really get our claws into working towards this important date.
Now, moving on to number 7 on the list, we have filming Deacon Blue for the Skiaf Wee Box Appeal.
I say, this is from one of the women, I say, show me the one who brought this programme here, I could kiss them. I mean, it has changed lives.
That's lovely. So obviously today's Ash Wednesday, day of fast and absence. I'm going to get my ashes soon. Hopefully as well. What are you planning to give up for Lent?
Well, I struggle with this every year, of the idea of giving something up. I think I've kind of grown away from that idea a wee bit more, and I think now what I try and do is do something for Lent, do something positive. Whether it's
that again was a great occasion. It was very great to meet them. Such talented people, singers, songwriters, musicians, and it's good to actually to speak to them about the work they're doing in the Wee Box Appeal. And it was really nice to hear the support that they give Skiaf. Wonderful charity in the Wee Box Appeal. Good, very, very good thing to support. So that again, great opportunity to meet them, to talk to them and hear about their work with Skiaf.
Well, yeah, one of the things that was good about meeting Deacon Blue was that, unlike Thomas and Aaron Eve, who was the work experience student there at the time, they would not have been so aware of just how big they were in terms of their contribution to the music scene in the 80s. But for me personally, I didn't know this actually at the time, or I would have went crazy, was that Lorraine McIntosh was actually a small part actor in the Outlander series, and I love Outlander, so I didn't realise she was involved with that, and that would have been something which I'd have talked about and spoke about. So you're basically waiting for Outlander 6 to come out. Outlander 5 got me through some parts of the lockdown in March.
Yeah, John, I definitely thought that was a great experience because, to be honest, I never heard of Deacon Blue before we actually went to film them, so meeting them was a very, very nice experience.
Coming in at place number 6, I think that has to be the marking of 100 years since cutting off the first sod at Carfin. So what a day that was as we lead up to 2022, which will be the 100th anniversary of the opening of Carfin Grotto.
Yeah, that was a really amazing thing, being there for the cutting of the first sod. The fact that the grandchildren of Andy O'Donnell, the first miner who cut that sod, were there present, emphasised just how ingrained this legacy of the Carfin, Grotto and Canon Taylor is in the area, and the real connection people have to it. So to reenact that and to film it with Father Grant and say some prayers with the current volunteers was just something really humbling to be a part of this really historic moment.
At place number 5, we have the Easter lockdown. Now, myself personally, I did not attend Mass during this time in person. I watched a lot of the live streams that was happening during the time that Brian and John provided when they were filming there. So what was your experiences while actually there in the church filming these Masses?
Yes, it was a really surreal experience, really. It was an Easter like no other that I've ever experienced before. For the Easter celebrations and Easter Triduum, it was just myself, Father Grant, and one other man who was in the church at that point in time. So it was a very, very strange experience, but quite a moving experience, especially the Easter Vigil itself, the Easter fire being lit in an empty church, no one there, and Father Grant holding up the Easter Paschal candle, the light of Christ come into the world. Very surreal experience, but at the same time, on the live stream, we had over 1,000 devices tuning in. So that could be a few thousand people watching that Easter Vigil. So although the church was empty, we had so many people there with us, joining with us. Just a strange experience, but good that so many people were able to join online via live stream.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, the fact that, that meme that Father Grant always talks about, of the devil talking to God, and he's saying that the devil's boasting that he's managed to shut down all your churches, when God's saying, well, actually, on the other hand, I've opened them in every house.
Yeah,
and that feels like what happened, during this pandemic, where we couldn't get to Mass. Sadly, it feels like the sheer creativity, drive, and will of the priests and people to provide online services for those who could see it, and also for telephone services as well, and other things like BBC broadcasts, really brought the faith into people's homes in a way that was not thought possible before. One of the things for me at the start of lockdown, which is my number 4 moment of 2020, was that because we were, due to restrictions, not allowed to leave the house in essence, I decided to use Zoom to set up a series called Life Under Lockdown, which would connect up these people. So you're talking about people who are watching online, they're just a number, and you see the numbers. But I thought, let's go deeper. Let's talk to individuals all across the Catholic spectrum about their experiences of life under lockdown, whether it was priests, bishops, religious sisters, lay people, families, new parents, nurses, doctors, talk to them about what that was like. And that was really humbling to do that every day. And it gave me a good focus every day. It gave me a good kind of routine to get up and focus and edit and work. And that was really well received. And that was really interesting. Good series to do, Hello, welcome to the very, very final, we hope, Life Under Lockdown episode. It's been a rather long journey this last few months.
Such a variety of people. I think that was great for people at home, especially at that point in time, who perhaps weren't get to see many people, to hear these stories really and have them presented to them directly. So I think a lot of people really enjoyed that, really enjoyed those series of videos, definitely.
Yeah, it was very inspiring actually watching those series of videos, because for once you actually got to see the faces behind all of these numbers who attend the live streams, and you get to meet them in person, obviously through Zoom, and discuss the implications of lockdown. Personally, my number 3 spot on this list would definitely be building of the SPUC Studio. I was there at the very, very start of the this building process, because obviously lockdown eased a bit then, so I could lend a helping hand to Brian and John, carrying materials up, and helping build the timber frame that will become the studio once it was done, and unfortunately the lockdown levels obviously increased. I could no longer go into Glasgow and help them with the studio, so it was a very nice to see the completion of the studio once it was finally revealed.
It was a really, really good project to work upon. Also, we started working with SPUC just before the lockdowns happened, so it's good to actually get stuck in and help SPUC. We try to keep positive in this video, but 2020 has been devastating for the unborn. The pro-abortion lobby has pushed and pushed and pushed this year to try and bring in more measures, make it more accessible for those who want to procure abortions for any reason, at home especially. So our involvement with SPUC is something we're passionate about. We're hoping that 2021 will see a better situation. I'm hoping that the studio will be a platform for the great work those guys do at SPUC to put across the pro-life message in a way which is modern, relevant, and wins people's hearts.
Yeah, hopefully it will be a good setting to have people in. Obviously, it can't happen just now, but to have people in there and talking about these issues and talking about their own stories as well, because there's many people who'll speak about their own personal experiences in that area. But again, if we want to then move on to our next place, coming in at number 2, am I right? Number two, yeah.
Number 2.
So number 2, I think, comes in as our series on views from the Grotto.
It's just, here you come a lot in your mind. It's just a peaceful place, and you see your local people, and it's just a lovely place. It just clears your mind. You come a lot of worries, and it's just basically been blessed, isn't it?
Which was a series where we met people about Carfin Grotto at that time to discuss with them what the Grotto really meant to them at that point in time, especially during lockdown, where it was great weather, really nice, warm, sunny days, but people couldn't go out and about, people couldn't attend masses, churches were closed. So Carfin Grotto really became the perfect place for people to go out and walk, get a bit of fresh air, but also a perfect setting for someone to stop for a moment and pray. So it was great to go out the Grotto and actually speak to people and hear what the Grotto really means to them, especially during the pandemic.
I mean, it was funny, the amount of people there, obviously spaced out, social distancing was involved, and people were very respectful of that, but the atmosphere there was electric. I would say it was electric because you had this, as you mentioned, Brian, that great weather. You had people there who were not seeing people for a long time, being stuck in their houses and meeting people outside. I thought it was incredible, very humbling to see how this situation almost showed the beauty and majesty of the Grotto and how relevant it is to all ages and all sectors of society who came during that time.
Yeah, I would just like to say that a big thank you to the person who actually donated a telescopic microphone so that we could actually conduct these interviews under the COVID guidelines.
Yeah, I mean, that is actually a good point. Thomas, thanks for bringing that up, because we have been so grateful to people during this time. I'm trying to sit my whiskey down, but I can't sit it down. Because we obviously have had an irregular situation with Sancta. We were doubting whether we were going to continue at the start of the year, but people have been so generous with their support for us. It's humbling because a lot of the time people contact us behind the scenes and say, "You've done this for me. Your videos have influenced me for the better. Your work is so important to me and get me through this difficult time." That's, we didn't want any financial support, but people were very insistent, and this woman in particular, who will remain nameless, but we thank her greatly, donated that mic to us to use as a social distancing pole. So it really is this is a point of reminder, Thomas, to thank everybody who has helped us in 2020. It's been our pleasure to be of service, if you can call it that. We view it as a service, and we sincerely hope we can continue to serve people and grow this base. We've got 62,000 followers plus throughout the next few years to come, because it's been a transformational year, 2020, for us. We've become more secure in what we do, far more than before, and people have been very good, and their prayers have been answered, and that's thanks to them.
Yeah, I've got to just echo that as well, John. There are so many people out there that have been so generous to us with their prayers and with other forms of help. It really is greatly appreciated, especially during this year, which has been so uncertain for so many people. So just to say again, thank you very much for your help and support.
So now we're here at the most important moment of the video, the crescendo, me friends, of a year which has been so hard, but yet the most positive moment for us in 2020 is, drum roll please,
The Mass has returned.
the Mass's returning was the moment of 2020, most memorable for me in terms of sheer raw emotion and spirituality. Brian, what was your thoughts on that moment?
Yeah, you could see that when people were returning into the churches for the first time after being deprived of the Mass, or certainly going to the Mass in person for so long. You could really see the joy that brought people, being able to go back into the church again, to pray in the church, to attend Mass again. Incredible. Who could disagree as that being the top moment of 2020?
It was made possible, of course, by such hard work on the part of the bishops, priests and laity on the ground who are scrubbing and cleaning and ensuring all the regulations were kept in place. That would not be possible without any of them. And I think to see the emotion, people, really impressive. And I just think after such a long period of darkness and lockdown when we couldn't get access to the sacraments, to have that moment was just absolutely amazing. We still have, fortunately, we're thankful we still have access to the Mass in reduced numbers, but we still have access at the minute. So we hope this reflection has been of interest. Certainly we've enjoyed it. Whether that's to do with the supplements or the content, I do not know. But we are looking forward immensely to 2021 being much better for all of us in the church and wider society. We're looking forward to a healthier year for everyone. If you've been ill during this year and you're recovering, we pray for you. If you've been bereaved during this year, lost a loved one, we will pray for you.
So it certainly has been a completely different top 10 list from any previous year, but again, there's been some good points and good highlights in there as well.
So thank you, Thomas, for coming tonight to have this chat. Thank you, Brian, for getting involved as well. And we had to do it over Zoom, because why else would you mark 2020 without doing something over Zoom? And hopefully we won't ever see Zoom again.
So
from all of us at Sancta Moments to all of you back home, God bless you and have a happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Clink.